Breezy,
gritty, this that nine
Mo's nose, Peachy, fair to gone.
It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's nose, Peachy, Breezy, and fair to gone. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you nine and tone. We two gorilla, silverback, nah, silver
You know it's
hoes.
busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's nose, and fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Line is tall. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall.
What's going on? Nitty Gritty Niners Talk is back. Episode 2, Season 5 as we kick off. Shout out to everybody out there. Welcome to the grittiest 49ers content in the world. Craig Peachy, what's going on? How you feeling on this? Today is a Manic Monday, even though nothing officially happened, but it's some stuff in the works.
It's a wild Manic Monday. For real. It literally, like, my day, what happened pales in comparison to the 49ers and this craziness that is going on with the 49ers. Oh my God. But
it's crazy.
We were without air for almost the whole morning. So that sucked because it gets really, really hot in that environment really fast. So we were definitely without air. That sucked really bad. I have a small like desk fan, but but blow out hot air because it was so hot in there. So we finally got that finished and taken care of. So the afternoon was much better than the morning.
Condition wise, yeah, but then now you starting to get stressed out because of all the stuff that's going on. You got all the rumors out there.
Yes.
You know, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew, man. You guys are in the building early. I love that, man. Appreciate you. Air horns for you guys. Listen, welcome to the show. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Don't forget to leave a comment. If you're new to the stream, please subscribe. This show is not subscribers only in the chat, so it's going to be open. The chat is open, all right? The chat is open, all right? So make sure you guys go ahead and leave your comments in the chat. Make sure you go ahead and give us a follow over on Instagram and Twitter at NGN Talk as well. Don't forget to join the Facebook group at Nitty Gritty Niners. We got the Facebook group going on over there. That is ran by the lovely Miss Debbie. She is doing a great job managing. And on today's episode, Miss Debbie is going to give away ticket to the training camp session on tomorrow. So if you are in the area and you want to go to training camp, you know, you can call out of work, do what you got to do. You will be able to win randomly. So we're going to do that in a little bit. All right. I promise we'll get that in a little bit. All right. So also make sure you send us an email, nittygritty9ers@gmail.com. All right. And don't forget to check everything out that we got going on. The news is crazy. It's going to be popping. I don't know at this point in time. The only thing I really, really, truly care about is the 49ers finding a way to make sure Trent Williams is here, happy and ready to go.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. We got our first super chat of the night from my bro, JP Hellahard 2800. Says, dumbest move ever. Why the trade BA now? Make sense. I completed your sentence. I can't make it make any sense. Peachy, can you make it make any sense? I will try to make it make sense if you try to make it make sense.
Lord, I honestly do not want to try to make it make sense. The only thing that I will say, though, is I feel like that the 49ers are dug in on their amount as far as, you know, their contract. I feel like that the 49ers are just dug in. And it's like if Aiyuk doesn't want to accept that, it doesn't seem like that there's been that much budging from the 49ers as far as, you know, like changing the amount, because the only amount we heard about was the $26 million. And Of course, because Miami is, oh God, anyway. So because of what Miami did, because yeah, I sure am blaming it on Miami. So if any Miami people are out there, I'm looking at you.
They're for those that don't understand, Miami's paying two receivers
Right.
top money. So
Yes.
they did Jalen Waddle's contract to where he's going to be getting $28.2 million,
Yes.
$28,200,000 annual per year, and then they renegotiated and did Tyreek Hill where he's going to be set 3-year deal at $90 million. So he'll be making an average of $30 million. So they're paying two. When I look at that Miami roster, and you brought it up, I'm just trying to think like, they have it set up. You would think that the Niners would be the next team to pay two wide receivers.
Yes, absolutely.
But I got to go through their roster because I want to know, how many top guys they're paying. So you go ahead and finish your statement,
Okay.
and I'm going to try to pull that up.
So like I was saying, I feel like that the 49ers are dug in on a number at this point. I'll just say a number at this point, and they're not wanting to budge off that number. And for whatever reason, they are determined to, and like I said, they just got their foot stuck in the ground on that number. And I just think that Aiyuk is just like, that's not the number that I want. And I'm sure they've come back to the table because they had several meetings. So I know they've come back to the table and did different things or whatever. But only thing that bothers me about this is you drafted this guy in the first round so you could have the 5th year option. And why would you not, why would you not want to pursue that if you don't want to deal with the table, the contract talks, and you just table the contract talks? Because one thing about it, Aiyuk is gonna play because if he don't play, then he don't get paid. So he's gonna play. And Cincinnati tabled their contract talks for Jamar Chase until after this offseason. After this season, sorry about that. And, other teams are kind of doing that. It kind of just, I think that's why I find it so hard to believe that we're actually like pursuing trading him because they have an option. And it's just wild to me. It really is wild to me.
Well, so what makes this complicated? Because you said you just don't see, you get the 5th year option. The fifth year option isn't necessarily. It's more of a placeholder to work out a deal. It's not really right. So like, not too many players play on a 5th year option. They usually it's almost like a tag, but it's just not as much as the franchise tag. And when you get franchise tagged, you don't want to play. The player doesn't want to play on the franchise tag. The player's looking for the security. And so the player, Brandon Aiyuk, doesn't want to play on this 5th year option. He is just the option that the Niners are awarded for drafting him in the first round. Every team gets the 5th year option, but it's really a placeholder to kind of like work out a deal. Now for the Niners financially, it works because it's only $14.1 million this year. So for the Niners, that's great. For Brandon Aiyuk, it's not great. No, when we look at it, most people look at it as like $14.1 million. That's a lot of money, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, like we understand that, but I'm going to go through the top 10 paid wide receivers again. I feel like we got to always come back to this.
Right. Exactly.
And this is where Aiyuk's agent comes in to work and say, well, my guy did what some of these top 10 guys are doing. And so he needs to be paid in the top 10 category. Well, $14.1 million isn't going to get it done. So yes, the Niners own him for this season at $14.1 million, but Aiyuk's not feeling that. And so that's why they're hoping to work out some type of an extension to where now Aiyuk will get his securities and blah, 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 all that good stuff, right? So that's what's really going on. That's what the 5th year option is really all about. For those that don't understand, it's really kind of like a time placeholder to work out a deal, a long-term deal, right? And so when I go through this list, it's I'm just gonna say the names. I was gonna share it. I'm not gonna share it. I'm just gonna say the names because this list is Justin Jefferson's 1, 35 million. AJ Brown is 2 at 32 million.
Yep.
I wouldn't put him in that category. That's not where Brandon Aiyuk is. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown at 30 million. Let's just put it there. He's getting paid a little bit more per year than Tyreek Hill. Now, me personally, I feel like Tyreek Hill's agent should have made sure that he was number 3 on this list, but he's number 4. So I think we're gonna switch it around. We're gonna put Amon-Ra St. Brown a little under because I think it's more in that 28 something number, and it's but what they have they added in to make it that 30. All right, so let's say Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, your top 3.
Yes.
All right. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown will be next. Jalen Waddle. So now you got Jalen Waddle there at 28.25. That's that right there. Devontae Adams is still on his deal at 28. Now, I don't think even Brandon Aiyuk is in that tier. I really feel like my top 4 receivers would be Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. No particular order. Justin Jefferson would be 1. Obviously, I think you put Tyreek Hill 2, maybe AJ Brown 3, or Devontae Adams 3, AJ Brown 4 if you're gonna rank them. But here's where it gets tricky. You got DJ Moore at 7, 27.5 million. You got Cooper Kupp at 8, 26.7. Cooper Kupp hasn't been right since he won like the Triple Crown Award. Right? He hasn't even been healthy.
Right.
Devontae Smith, 25 million. And then number 10, Nico Collins at $24.25 million. Like that right there, it's Brandon Aiyuk is there, right? Brandon Aiyuk should be 10, 9, 8, 7, and 5. Where Jalen Waddle is where it's all screwing up. And so that, to me, is why we're having these issues with Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers agreeing on a number that he deems that's sufficient enough for him to sign the deal. So maybe the Niners offered him 26. Maybe that's where they started. And maybe they only went as high as 27. Because 27 would put him right now 8 on this list.
Right. I understand.
Which, it's tough because you're saying, wait a minute, I'm not better than DJ Moore. My numbers, my stats aren't better than DJ Moore's. Look what I did. So maybe his targets aren't the same. Maybe his receptions aren't the same. But we can have this conversation. We could pull up the receptions. We could do that. And I think that's what's going on. Now, the new information that's out right now with Brandon Aiyuk is that there's these trade rumors and all this crazy stuff that's going on. And right now, it sounds like Brandon Aiyuk is on his way out. Okay? It sounds like he's on his way out. The Niners are definitely entertaining the trade, Peachy. What are your thoughts on that, man? Like they're entertaining the trade a little bit more than what we thought. So how do you feel? Like, how are you feeling about it?
To me, it feels inevitable that he's going to get traded unless some miracle happens. And I know you don't like stipulations, so I'm not going to put any on it. I'm just going to say that it really, there's a such thing as having too much smoke. And I feel like that there's way too much smoke. I mean, they already said that the 49ers have been communicating with teams and different things like this. So, and I do believe that because before the draft, the 49ers communicated with teams. So, it's not like it's the first time that they've done that this year. And I do feel like that it's just like eventually he is going to be. I want to say one thing real quick. Wikipedia is hilarious. Don't pay attention to Wikipedia. You can edit that yourself. So people are going in, messing with Wikipedia and changing it to different teams.
I never knew you could do that.
Yeah. There's an edit thing. If you look, like, if you type in Brandon Aiyuk right now, I think it has the Patriots. I know when I looked an hour ago, it was the Panthers. And so you can go in and do it yourself. You can literally click the edit button and change things on Wikipedia. That's why they tell people don't pay attention to Wikipedia all the time, because you can go in and mess with things.
Interesting. Well, we got some breaking news before we continue. Per Jeremy Fowler from ESPN, Matt Breida is signing with the San Francisco 49ers. So Breida the Cheetah is back.
Nice.
Interesting. Let's look up Matt Breida. Let's talk a little bit about Matt Breida.
Nice.
Breida
like, the cheetah.
Is he still a cheetah? Like,
I don't know.
Is he a cheetah? Like, cheater?
That's a great question.
But let's talk about Matt Breida. I mean, like, how you feeling about that? The Niners brought back a familiar guy in the system. Couldn't stay healthy, though. Right. I felt like Matt Breida is who Elijah Mitchell is right now.
The facts. That's what I was about to say.
As far as health-wise.
Right, health.
I don't want people I don't want people to be like, what?
That was why we made the trade that we did, because he couldn't stay healthy either. So I mean, I get it, but
in 2023 per PFF, Breida 86 snaps, 151 yards. He averaged 2.7 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Did have a fumble that year. No explosive runs. This is why I'm asking these questions. People like, is he a cheetah? I don't
know about that anymore.
No more explosive runs. He had 0 explosive runs. When he was a Niner,
right.
It was an explosive run after explosive run. It's kind of like how he made a living. I could tell that the Niners are looking to get. Here's my thought process. They bring in Matt Breida.
Yeah,
he's still a speedy guy at the end of the day. 4.3 guy, right? Maybe 4.3.
Yeah, that lower
the lower 4.3s, right? So who's hurt right now? That was the speed guy. It was Isaac Guerrero. It's the kid that they drafted. So I'm thinking they're going to bring in Matt Breida, who could provide speed on special teams. The Niners are looking for a one-up, looking for a return guy, somebody that can return these new kickoff rules and things like that. So they bring in Breida. I think this is more of a stop replacement to add speed to the 49ers running back room. What you think? I mean, you tell me what you think. That's just my thought process. I could be wrong.
So on top of that, it's always good to have familiarity.
Really? Dang, I was trying to say it right and I said it wrong.
Kyle is a big on familiar faces. Definitely, because
wait a minute, we got Matt Breida and Trent Taylor back on this roster.
Yes,
right now.
That's what I'm saying. So he is big on familiar faces. So if he can find some familiar faces that he can bring in to just provide depth, he will bring them in. Remember when he brought in Tevin Coleman because he had him in Atlanta.
That wasn't just a familiar face.
Well, no, it wasn't. But
no, you're right. It was a familiar face, but it wasn't just a familiar face.
Right.
He trusted Tevin Coleman. This is about trust. Like that's Kyle Shanahan, Bobby Turner.
Yep.
You heard what Bobby Turner. So you heard what what Jordan P. Mason said about Bobby Turner and how he was in Bobby Turner's doghouse to say. And it was because he didn't understand what the hell was going on.
Exactly.
It took him a minute to comprehend the language. And he said every time Bobby Turner would ask him a question, he didn't know the answer.
Right.
Yep. And I just thought that was funny. And so it made sense now why we didn't see a lot of Jordan Mason. This is a guy that Bobby Turner clearly trusts. He just dealt with injuries. He just was injury prone.
Yeah. But we got to admit that Mason as the closer in some of them games was just phenomenal. Just a little bit that he played as a closer.
I mean, when you're up, you just need a guy to close out.
Right.
That's it. They're not going to play to stop the run, so it's kind of common sense. They think
he put him out there. But which is what I was making that point, Breezy, about other rookies that we have on the squad that are supposed to, replace possible other people. And it's like, it takes time to learn this complicated offense. Like, you don't just learn it overnight. It doesn't work that way. I think Debo, it took like mid-season before Debo felt comfortable. I'm pretty sure that's what Debo said. I think he said that he really didn't even understand, this system and in the playbook and everything he had to do. It took him nearly half the season before he got comfortable enough to, to understand it. And then for, like you said, it goes back to trust with Kyle. Is it, for Kyle to trust him, with things like that. And that's what happens a lot of times. So I do feel like that Breida already knowing the system and everything is also going to be a big help.
I agree. 1,000%.
Yes.
And again, it's more like, it's just more, I really think the speed element is back.
Yes.
There's the new kickoff rules.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the speed was. You get a guy that can withstand some contact, that can kind of slip through a little bit and possibly break off a big one with the new kickoff rules. So we're going to see. We're literally going to see. This is not the breaking news that I was expecting, but we do have some breaking news. Maybe we'll have more breaking news here on the live episode, right? On the live episode. Since we're talking about that, the Niners worked out a slew of players.
A lot of players.
A slew. Rick, what's going on out there, Rick? Thanks for tuning in. A slew of players. Terra Dome, what's good? A slew of players, right? Do you have the report of all the players, or do I need to go find a way to search for it? Let's see. This is per Aaron Wilson, too, as well. Like, the Niners just was, and Matt Breida was one of the players that they actually worked out. They worked out a player named Ryan Sanborn, Brock Miller. I'm looking from a big list. Here we go. All right. They worked out Brevin Allen, Breida, who's signing, Mike Harley Jr., wide receiver, Jamarco Jones. They also signed today offensive lineman Lewis Kidd. All right. They signed Lewis Kidd, offensive lineman. He is going to replace Elfstein, the guy that they signed a couple of days ago, right? And he ended up getting a calf injury first day at camp, and so he's got placed onto the IR. And probably they'll probably give him a injury settlement, and then that'll be that. All right. Jontre Kirkland, Anthony McFarland, Adam Pankey, Tim Patrick, wide receiver. Didn't he play for the Broncos?
Yes.
Tim Patrick. Breland Speaks, Blake Stenstrom, Keyshawn Vaughn. That name sounds familiar. It sounds like a running back we had here before.
I think so.
Vaughn.
That's what I was thinking.
And then Monte Young. All right. Monte Young. So they definitely have been working out tons of players. It's preseason week, ladies and gents. So these guys are going to be probably getting some burn, get a chance to put some stuff out there on tape, on film, get into camp, and we'll see what happens. But they are signing, per Jeremy Fowler, Matt Breida. I'm gonna post this while Peachy talks to you guys a little bit.
I feel like that because it's not just the 49ers, it's every team around the NFL is working out a whole bunch of players, and they're bringing players in and things like that. I think it has something to do with also because, preseason, as we know, is only 3 games instead of 4. So you don't have a lot of, so you don't want to put your main players that this normally like game 2, like the second game is when, you'll see your starters for, just a little bit and this and that. And then they'll come out, and then you'll have your bench, which would be like your second string or whatever, will come out and they'll play. That's usually like game 2 is now the dress rehearsal, because game 3 is the one where you really want to see, like your bench and then your deep bench so you can see who's going to make that 90, because, you have to cut down coming, that comes along with everything else now. It's a little bit more rushed than it was when you had 4 weeks a couple of years ago to wear 3. So I do see that a lot of teams are doing that. There's not a lot of starters so far that's playing week 1. I think most of the starters are going to come out for a little bit in week 2 for like every team, I think.
I don't expect any of the starters to play.
No, none of them. Yeah.
Not in week 1. Week 2, like you said, against the Saints, because they're going to practice against the Saints. They're going
Yes.
to do their joint practices
Yep.
against the Saints. Hey, Rick, enjoy that burrito out there. All right, make sure you enjoy it, man. Stay safe out there. I don't expect, like you said, starters to play week 1. But you know what? That's what makes this game so cool, because the depth is what we really got our eyes
yeah.
on, right? Like I want to see what Jalen Graham, D Winters, like these
Yeah.
guys. Like I want to see oh my God, Robert Bill Jr. out on the edge. I want to see, some of these guys that we are like kind of like high on. I want to see how deep and strong this defensive back room is.
Yes.
All right, that's number 2. Now, here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
If we're saying that the starters aren't going to play week 1 against Tennessee, cool. Who's going to be our starting safeties? Does Jair Brown, because it's his second year,
that's
play?
right.
Or do you sit him out? Because I believe the starting safeties are going to be George Odom and Jair Brown. Start at the beginning of the season. If Talanoa Hufanga isn't good to go, that means we're going to get Malik Mustafa, maybe some Taylor Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be that type of game, but they got to have other bodies to play out there. Let me see who else is on the safety list. Let's see. If those guys don't start, who do we have as safeties? Because that safety room is kind of deep, kind of good. Okay, so here we go. Talanoa Hufanga won't play. He's still on the PUP. Jair Brown probably will get the X. So Malik Mustafa, George Odom will probably get the X.
Yep.
So here's who your starters will be: veteran Eric Harris, and maybe Taylor Hawkins, and then you sub in Malik Mustafa and Jalen Mahoney, the undrafted guy. I think that's where you go.
Yeah.
I think Eric Harris, the veteran, will get the start.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But don't expect any starters to play. Again, week 2 preseason, they're going to do joint practices with the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
Speaking of joint practices, in NFL news, big fight between the Giants and the Colts, I believe.
Yes.
Man, I mean, everybody was throwing blows. Daniel Jones got some blows in there. Like, yo.
Did you see? Okay, so not only did they have a fight, but the Lions and
it was the Lions, not the Colts. It was the Lions and the Giants.
Yeah, Lions and the Giants. So people were making a big deal because St. Brown,
Amon-Ra St. Brown punched somebody.
the whole entire team Giant squad just ganged him, and it took the Lions players a while before somebody even came over there. So you basically just see a bunch of Giants, and then he's in the middle, and he's scrapping by himself. And then just a little bit later, then his teammates came out there, but the Lions fans were not happy at the fact that he came to that dude's rescue for a minute. It took them a minute before somebody came over there.
Fights. Listen. When you're joint practicing with other teams, the fights are gonna probably happen.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of testosterone, energy, blah 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 blah. It is what it is. So expect a fight that's gonna go down. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But I know that they joint practice against the Saints. That's and I expect probably the starters to play.
Yes.
Maybe a series or 2 in that game.
It always goes by what Kyle sees. He always says it just depends on if they do what he asked them to do while they're out there.
Mufasa.
Kyle cracks me up with that. I think he's the only coach that's like that. He's like, if I see what I need to see, I'm gonna pull him out. If I don't, it's not out there.
Oh man, we got a Rams fan in here saying that the Titans are going to body us.
Okay, no one cares because it's preseason. So
yeah, it's at that point where man, it's just.
I think that the Rams fans should be more interested in
Jimmy Garoppolo being quarterback 3.
Who is gonna for that situation right there?
They said
crazy.
that he's taking a step back. I heard that Jimmy Garoppolo is worse than Trey Lance in Dallas. That's what I heard. I'm hitting buttons and stuff. Oh shoot! I hope I didn't hit the wrong button.
Hold on.
But that's what I heard.
Okay.
I heard that he's struggling,
struggling bad too, struggling.
So it is what it is.
In a Sean McVay offense.
Right. And then Oscar wants to know how Puka's doing. So Puka got injured
He did.
the other day where he had to leave practice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And so we don't know, but we wish him, speedy
Right.
recovery, man.
Absolutely.
This ain't about injuries. I don't play when it comes to injuries. I don't like injuries.
No.
I don't care who it is.
And shame on you 49er fans, and I'm going to leave it to who it was that were sitting up here saying good, because when we face them, it would be good not to have Puka, because that's not cool. You don't ever do that. Haven't you guys learned that backfires really quick? And this team is already injury prone anyway, so we don't need no bad juju out there.
I agree.
In the atmosphere.
I agree 1,000%. Tommy says, all right, Tommy, first of all, thank you for the super chat, right? Second of all, I agree with you. Lambs fans are soft, but I definitely do not hate the blues. The blues, honestly, is where it's at. Music, scales, the words, the lyrics, the feeling. Love the blues, but I don't like the Rams. I don't care for those blues. But thank you for the super chat, Tommy. We appreciate you, man. I don't hate the blues. I wish I could be in Tennessee. Unfortunately, I gotta do a wedding, and I think they want some blues tunes played at their wedding. Matter of fact, now that you brought that up, if you are going down to the game, enjoy it. Peachy, I think it's a great time. We got a bunch of people in here.
Yep.
Let's do a giveaway. Now, listen.
Sounds good.
Here's what you got to do to participate in the giveaway. And I want y'all to be honest. We're going to do a random number giveaway like I normally do. Do not put no numbers in this chat because I didn't tell you what to pick from the scale yet. But it's for a ticket to tomorrow's training camp via Miss Debbie. So I'm going to need your information so that she can forward you over the ticket from Ticketmaster. All right. So if you plan to go and you can go, we're going to send you off there. Now, what we're asking for in return is for you to take pictures when they allow you to take pictures.
Yes.
And tag us in the pictures. All right. Tag us in the pictures. You can tag Nitty Gritty. You can tag Dwayne Breezy. You can tag Crystal Peachy B. Just tag us in the pictures. You can tag Miss Debbie. Tag us in the pictures. All right. Make sure you do that. We would love to see what you guys get out there. Plus, if you're going there, you're going to be working for me. So make sure you get me some video footage and so that I can put it out there and stuff like that. All right. Now I'm just playing. But make sure you tag us in the pictures. All right. So I gotta re-download my randomizer app on my phone. Actually, can't I just get one on the computer?
Probably.
Random number generator. Random number generator. Cool. Oh, that's super simple. Oh, wow. That was easy. All right, that looked corny. I'm going to go. I think we'll just go with this. Oh, I like this one. Calculate. No, that looks complicated. How you going to have a random number generator that look like algebra?
There's J-Dog being hard-headed.
All right, PG, how many people we got in the chat? I mean, how many people we got? Oh, you can see live. How many people? 70, 73. So
73.
You're going to pick a number from 1 to 73. 1 to 73. All right. I'm going to generate the number. We're going to give you, let's say we'll give them about 60 seconds.
Okay.
Let's give them 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Starting
now. All right. So 2 minutes. I'll be hitting that generate number, and whoever gets that number will win the ticket to training camp session tomorrow, where you get to watch the 49ers practice. Debo will be back at practice. Will Brennan Aiyuk be at practice? And that's how we're going to end the show. We're going to talk a little bit about these crazy, silly, daggone rumors. Peachy, the first number that I see in here is J-Dog at 9:34, even though he cheated. But he put it again at 9:34 a little bit later. So Alejandro will be the first one at 73, and then J-Dog will be the second. So we'll see. We see the numbers in there. And if you're putting numbers in there, I'm going off the whim that you're going to be able to actually go out and attend.
Yes,
it's a great time. You will love it. They interact with the crowd. You get to watch the players do the dances, all that good stuff, man. And you just get to be there with really good 49er people. There's going to be tons of content creators there. And we're gonna thank Miss Debbie for doing
Absolutely.
this as well. All right. So we got about 50 seconds left until I announce the winner. Joel Anders and Andre says, take my number out. Okay. If your number is called, we'll call a different number. How about
Okay.
that? All right. We'll call a different number.
Thank
all
you,
right?
Joel. Yeah, because you have to make sure that you're going to be able to attend, that you're
Right.
planning on attending.
Right. JP Hella Hard 2800 is gonna add a custom jersey to the winner. How about we do that for a different giveaway?
Yes.
Like, how about
I
we
agree.
do that week 1? If you want to give away a custom jersey, we'll do that
Sounds
week
good.
1 after the roster is set. After the 53-man roster. So one for week 1's game. You want to do that, JP? Let me know. We could do that, fam.
That
All
sounds
right.
great.
All right. So we got about 8 seconds. I'm gonna click that generate the number button, and then there we go. Oh yeah, I know you're in the Philippines, Joel. I knew that. All right, timer's up. Here we go. All righty. Let's see. That number is going to be. Click the number. The number is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. If there is no Jimmy Garoppolo in here, oh, you know what? Ronnie Bell. That's the number. The number
All
is
right,
Ronnie
Ronnie
Bell.
Bell.
Ronnie Bell, who's having a hell of a camp.
Yes.
Like,
by the
who's
way.
gonna make this 6 roster? Who's gonna make the 6th spot at the wide receiver position?
I think-
Is it gonna be Ronnie Bell,
Mhm.
Chris Conley,
Yeah.
Trent Taylor, or who am I missing? Danny Gray.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yep.
I'm not gonna tell you who I think it is.
The
Eddie G and the
battle
Beat
is
Dogs. What's
awesome.
going on?
So the number is number 10.
Do you see any? Do you see a number 10 there? If not, we'll do another. I don't see a 10, so we're gonna do it again.
No, there's
All
not
right.
a 10.
Shout out to those that are participating that can actually go. 51. Do we have a 51? Who's 51 on the roster right now?
I don't know if 51 is on the roster right now. Do we have a 51 in here, though? Let's see. Yes, we do.
Who's the winner?
Steven Rodriguez.
Steven Rodriguez. Congratulations.
Yay.
Now, Steven Rodriguez, you can DM me on X or Instagram, or you can email me nitty-gritty9ers@gmail.com. I need you to do it ASAP, like while we're on the show.
Yep. Right.
I hope you can attend the game. Attend the practice. It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. And so let us know. Let us know if you can attend. If not, we want to give it to somebody that can actually get out there and enjoy the day. So, Steven, let us know if you're still watching the show. You know, you gotta let us know. All right, Ken Norton was 51, but I'm trying to think who's 51 now. I feel like there's a 51.
Yeah,
but I
I'm
can't
trying to
think of
remember like who.
51 is. Steven says he can't go.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's okay. We'll call another number. All right. Do we got a 68? Do we have a Colton McKivitz? Is that Colton McKivitz number?
68. We have a 69.
Nah, we don't do Mike McGlinchey's. I'm just playing.
I don't see a 68 in here. The closest one is a 69.
How about a former Debo, a now Trent Taylor? Is there a 19?
19. Let's see.
It's so hard to do giveaways, especially when you're asking people to attend something because, like,
Right.
everybody's not from that area or whatever.
I
whatever.
don't see a 19.
All right, so we'll figure it out. But right now, we'll figure it out. If you're in that area, first person that sends me a DM is going to get the ticket. How about that?
That works. I like that.
If you're in that area and you could go first person. Wait. I meant 69 as in Mike McGlinchey. Stop it. All right. Let's talk about Debo. We could talk about Debo because I believe this might be one of the reasons why the 49ers are probably going to move on from Brandon Aiyuk. If they do move on from Brandon Aiyuk. But Peachy, Brandon Aiyuk, man, the rumors are crazy right now. And you know, how close do you think this is about to get done? Like, you know.
I think it's really close. I think it's days close.
Okay, so days close.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think it's
Not
days close.
hours close though. Like not minutes and hours close.
No. I think it's days close.
See, that's what's messing me up, right? Because I'm gonna go to bed and he's not gonna be traded. Then I'm gonna wake up in the morning and he's not gonna be traded. And then a day after that, possibly. So that's like being stuck in limbo for a couple of days. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. I'm kind of like, if the Niners really want to move on from Brandon Aiyuk, just get it done. Like, just get it done. Like, just get it done. And that way we can start healing from the process and focusing on how the Niners can win without Brandon Aiyuk. Because that's the question, right? Like, can they get it done? Here's the latest in trade rumors from a person on X named Andrew Filipponi at the Pony Express. You know what? I'm going to share this because I want people to not say that I said this, because I didn't say this. So people will say that Breezy said it, and I'll be like, I didn't say that. So I'm going to share it. Let's just share it. Is this it? No. How many daggone tabs I got open? Hold on. Oh, I know why. Because I'm on.
This Faponi guy or whatever, he is obviously, according to these Steeler fans, he's actually one that has association with the team.
He's like the Wayne Breezy of the Steelers.
Right. So
there it is.
He knows a lot. So that's why we chose this one to share with you guys. But Breezy did not say this.
All right, so we got it right here. And wrong screen. I'm trying to blow up. It says, source familiar with the 49ers/Steelers Aiyuk trade negotiations. It's at the goal line. What does that mean? It's at the goal line. Here's a little bit about him. I talk sports in Pittsburgh on 93.7 The Fan. So he's on a trusted radio station. I'm not on 95.7 The Fan or whatever it's called, but I don't live out there.
But,
I know it would be cool. I feel like I sound just like all of those dudes, but
you do.
I got the voice.
Yes.
Just put me on there.
Absolutely have the voice for that.
Just to do a guest appearance. Let's do a test run.
Right.
Somebody from 95.7 The Game. Let's do a test run. Just have me on one episode, see how it works. But anyway,
that's right.
He says it's at the goal line. Peachy, what in the hell does that mean?
To me, it means a matter of days. That they're just trying to get, like their everything lined up together.
All right, so let's have fun with this.
Might as well. Let's have fun.
What if you are the 49ers? What are you asking the Steelers for? Now, I'm going to pull up the Steelers roster because I know what I want. And I know people going to be like, oh, Breezy's dumb, blah, 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 blah. I'm not dumb. I just know what I want. It's a big difference. I'm not going to ask for TJ Watt, right? I'm not going to ask for TJ Watt.
I know what I would want. And K-Mac, I know he's listening. I don't know. He's not checked in yet to say hello, but I know that he's there or whatever. I would want Cam Hayward.
Really?
But he said that he's Pittsburgh, and there's no way that they would do that because he's like the heart. And, every team has their heart, and so like he's literally the heart and soul of that team. And they're not gonna. They would never do it. But I'm just saying.
I mean, we moved on.
Who I wouldn't want is put in on with our defense. Like that would just be, yeah. I'm just saying.
There are two players that I would want.
Okay. Who would you want?
Well, Minka Fitzpatrick is the first one that screams because he's a former first-round pick. So you give me Minka, I'll trade you straight up. Matter of fact, I'll give you a 7th-round pick and Brandon Aiyuk for Minka. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's just me.
100%.
But I look at Kylie put Minka in the chat. I didn't even see him put that. I'm sitting here looking at my other screen.
100%.
But am I crazy for that? Am I crazy for saying that? I don't want TJ Watt. I'm good on TJ Watt. We can barely afford who we got.
Minka,
give me Minka. Now,
would be,
that's a big contract, you're going to take on.
It is.
But-
That's
so,
what I'm thinking about.
but nah, seriously, here's who I would, here's who I would want.
Who would you want?
First of all, I want a first round pick.
Well,
And I know that they're not going to give us a first round pick.
Mm-mm.
I feel like the Steelers are pretty stacked, and they drafted somebody this year in the first round that I want. Now I know that this is a far chance in hell, but if I'm the Niners, come up off Troy Fontenot, and we got ourselves a deal. It's a player. The 49ers
a first round pick for a first round.
Hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not saying this is for real. We said we were gonna have some fun. You give me Troy Fontenot. Okay, I'm not being greedy. I'm giving you a first round pick. I'm giving you a receiver. You already got they got a pretty solid offensive line. I think they got a pretty decent. We beat up on them, but they got a pretty decent offensive line.
There comes
Okay?
J-Mac. That's wild.
It could be wild, but y'all. Hey, listen, I'm not trading Brandon Aiyuk if it's not for a firster. That's first and foremost. It's not like Fontenot was a top 10 pick. He picked what? When did the Steelers draft? 15? 16? Like, they were in the teens, right? They didn't draft the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. So, give me Fontenot. You can have Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
Then, hear me out. Trent Williams. See, this is where it's going to get tricky. Because now you have an option to replace Trent Williams. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
His base. Okay, so Steve-O says stop. If you trade the rookie Steelers, you'll pay his base plus 30 mil, plus Aiyuk 30 mil. Why would you pay anything for Aiyuk if you're trading the Aiyuk contract?
Yeah.
You're gonna pay. You'll pay. I could be wrong, but you will pay Fontenot his rookie scale, right? You pay him on his rookie scale. Unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then it doesn't work. I could be wrong. I have no idea.
The 49ers wouldn't pay Aiyuk 30 million. Like they wouldn't do any of that. That would be Pittsburgh.
No, I did not say you were going to trade. Oh my God.
No,
what I said,
he didn't
Papa J,
say-
was if he chooses to retire, you have his replacement.
Yes. Which we need to be thinking about down the road anyway.
Bingo. But it's never gonna happen. I'm just saying, if I'm the Niners, first of all, if I'm the Niners, I don't want to trade Brandon Aiyuk. He's only costing me $14.1 million.
See, speaking of that, I have a feeling it just made me think of something.
Woo!
I think that the reason why
Sorry.
that this trade talks and everything's going on and nothing hasn't been done, like they said, there's no trade in place
Gotcha,
and everything
Steve-O.
like that,
Gotcha.
is
Steve-O.
because they 49ers are probably not. Of course, they don't want to do this, so they may be like, "Hey, we want this, we want that, and we want this.
Hey,
We
Steve-O,
want to do that, we want this and that."
I understand now what you're saying. You're saying they will have to pay his base plus. But hey, they saving money. Hey, they're paying a quarterback $1. Literally,
Yes.
Russell Wilson's costing them $1.
Absolutely.
I think they can afford to pay that money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
I
saying.
agree with that.
Nah, this is never going to happen. But I'm just saying, like, if I'm
Yeah.
the Niners,
Mhm.
this is who I'm asking for.
Yes.
It's a
And
guy
we
who
don't
has.
know that 49ers may be asking for that.
That's
That might be
true.
the reason why it's not done, because they may be asking for outlandish things.
And here's why I do it too. Here's why I do it though, Peachy. Don't nobody know what Troy Fontenot is going to be in the
That's
NFL.
right.
He's unproven. Everybody knows exactly what Brandon Aiyuk is. He's a top 10 wide receiver, and he's potentially could be a top 1 wide receiver in the right system.
That's right.
Brandon Ayuk's never going to be a number 1 guy, like as far as the top 1 guy. He'll never be
Right.
to that level in the 49ers system. It's just not built for him
Right.
in that kind of way. So you go to a team, you potentially have that. We know the Steelers like their receivers. Let's just keep it a buck. That's
Yes.
going to be a scary. They would have him,
Ooh.
George Pickens. Oh, let me finish looking at their roster. I knew I was doing something. All right, let me see if I can put. Let me read the receivers if they get Brandon Aiyuk. So if they get Brandon Aiyuk, the Steelers will have. Let's see if they got some guys. They'll have Calvin Austin III. Please don't give us Calvin Austin III. I know he's a fast dude. That's not who I want. They got my boy Tariq Black from Connecticut. All right, Jacob Copeland, Des Fitzpatrick. Oh, they got Van Jefferson. I forgot they signed Van Jefferson.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did. Yeah.
And Scotty Miller. Yo, they got my boy Roman Wilson.
That's right.
Hey, Kylie. You know what, Kylie? You ain't. Kylie think he's slick. Kylie, I see what you're doing. Roman Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, got injured in practice, got carted off the field.
Yes.
I'd stay away from that.
Roman is hurt.
Yeah. And this is probably why they need a Brandon Aiyuk at this point.
Probably.
All right, so put your Brandon Aiyuk trades to Pittsburgh only. We'll read some of them. We'll tell you if they're as lavish as my trade or Peachy's. We'll see if we can out trade it. So Great 1765 says Aiyuk for Fields in a second. Do we really want to bring in another quarterback that's got to compete with Brock, and that you potentially are going to have to pay if he outshines Brock? I like what Brock's mental game is.
Yes, me too.
And you're already going to have to pay him. But what do I know? What do you think about that trade? That's kind of different.
No, yeah, it's definitely different, but no. The one thing that I have enjoyed is no quarterback controversy this season at all.
Yo, we escaped the quarterback controversy, but now we in this wide receiver controversy.
Yes.
So basically, we're just controversy. You know, Kylie, you ain't. I gotta say it one more time, bro. What's wrong with this guy? I wasn't even looking at Roman Wilson.
He was though.
He definitely was. He be on it. Where's my boy at? Here we go. Scorch the Earth. I think that's how you. Am I saying that right? Scorch.
No, it's just Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth. I can't read. Scorched Earth 824. It's all together. It's just weird. Like Earth need to be separated. So I'm okay. If no team is willing to give what I'm asking for, maybe I'm not worth the money Frisco is willing to pay. Hopefully, Frisco. Are we allowed to call them Frisco? I don't. I feel like I'm gonna get yelled at. Like right? Because then they say don't call them Frisco.
Right. They said do not call them Frisco.
Let me correct you so you don't get yelled at, and I'll get the yelling at. I'll get yelled at. All right. So Scorched Earth. If no team is willing to give what I'm asking for, maybe I'm not worth the money. San Francisco is willing to pay. Hopefully San Francisco don't do what they did when they sent old boy to NDP. He talking about your guy.
That's exactly what I said.
He talking about Defoe.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a different situation, even though it's the same situation. It's still a little bit different. What do you know what makes it different?
Because of when it was. Because it was before the draft.
Right. I mean, the Niners were going to be able to cash in on the draft. They drafted 2 first-round picks that year.
Oh, yeah.
Opposed to, you know what I'm saying? One, when they traded Defoe.
Yep.
They did say that they wanted Defoe back. But they just couldn't agree upon that number. So I do understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I do understand what you're saying. It could end up like that situation where the Niners and Aiyuk just aren't agreeing on a number, and it is what it is. You know.
Right.
You know what's funny? I feel like the Niners was like, oh, this is what the Niners did in my opinion. They were like, oh, you want to be traded? Go find me some teams.
Right.
And I think he did.
That's what it sounds like.
But I don't think he really meant that. I think he was literally just trying to call the Niners bluff.
Right.
And it's backfiring. I think it's backfiring on Brandon.
Yes.
Because now the tires are kicking.
Yeah.
And now the Niners are on the phone with these teams.
Yeah. 49ers are like, you asked for it, you got it, Toyota. So now we're working around trying to.
Dang. All right, Big Daddy Niners. Shout out to Big Daddy Niners. Trade Aiyuk for Harris. Trying to think of who Harris is because Harris is.
Who
Oh,
is
Najee.
Oh no.
He would be so dope in this offense, though. But nah. I feel like the running back room is pretty solidified. Harris won't be able to play wide receiver, but having him and Christian McCaffrey on the field at the same time is scary. It's two
Right.
pass catching running backs.
Yep.
And Harris is a little bit bigger. Oh, that could be. Ooh. But nah. You're gonna need more. They're gonna need more in return, Big Daddy Niners. So if they did ask for Harris, they would need a pick too, maybe like a 4th or 5th or something like that, But I don't think they need a running back because I honestly don't think they need a wide receiver either in return. Like I feel like the room is full of wide receivers, but none of them are Brandon Aiyuk. And that leads us to our final question, Peachy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can the 49ers get it done without Brandon Aiyuk? Because the offense is going to look totally different.
I know. And I honestly, in my opinion, I don't feel like that the 49ers have Brandon Aiyuk's replacement ready to roll now, which means they don't have anyone who is going to replace Aiyuk that knows the system, that could just come in and just fit in there like a glove in that spot. Because as I said at the beginning of this show, it takes time to learn this difficult offense. You cannot just sit somebody down in there and they looks at some things, and that's what I do not like. That is,
I know it's not even that. It's not that. It's that plus it's so much more. I mean, Brandon Aiyuk has been the best receiver the 49ers have had since freaking Terrell Owens. He's not as dynamic, I don't think, as a Terrell Owens, but man, when you got a kid that can just get open, that can beat man coverage just about on every rep, that can find ways to get open in zone and sit there and wait for the ball to come, make people miss. We're talking Brandon Aiyuk. You're talking a guy that got 70 receptions but averaged over 18 yards per reception. You're talking about a guy that finished second team All-Pro. You're talking about a kid that's only trending upward, and I get that you don't want to do it, but it's going back to his first comment when he said guys aren't creating separation. Now that does not mean that they won't develop into that. My issue with this is like, dude, Kyle Shanahan groomed Brandon Aiyuk to be the dog. So now you're asking him to find another guy you got to have some type of dog in you to want to even become the dog that Kyle Shanahan is looking for.
He took him from the doghouse all the way to the penthouse.
Strawberry reacts. This is it.
Yep.
This is the take.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is the only take. This is it. This is the take. This is the take. Peachy. I know the Niners were 5-0. But this was prior Brandon Aiyuk. This was Debo's rookie year.
Yeah.
But that offense was shitty.
Bad.
It was like it was the worst looking 5-0 offense I've ever seen in my life until they traded for Emmanuel Sanders, and for some reason, because of his expertise, knowledge, because he was old as shit in the NFL, he played a long time. That's what I'm trying to say. Experience. Right.
He's seen every defense there is, known to man. Like, there's just so many things that he brought. It was right there. He
Bingo.
was a quick learner because, he's intelligent and very, very, very smart. So he was able to pick this up just like that and just go out there and roll. Because when you experienced as much as he has and been through, everything, and you can do that.
Because of his experience.
Yes.
It was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
The offense, to me, it was a short passing game offense.
Yes.
And the timing was shitty.
It was.
It
was stagnant for the most.
It was stagnant.
The most part. Yep.
So we had to run the ball, but they would stack the box.
Yes.
They took away the run.
That's
and they would force Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the ball. But when they got Emmanuel Sanders, it added a different element, and then it ignited Debo Samuel, right?
Yes.
And allowed Kyle to use Debo Samuel for the weapon that he was, which is going to lead me back to my brother that just always argues with me. Because Debo will always be number one for me. Like, he just will be the number one guy. Why? Because he's the weapon. Now, is Brandon Aiyuk the number one receiver? For sure.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Kyle is going to go with that secret weapon that can, the versatility. That's what it is.
This is fantastic. This is what Jimmy said to Kyle. Remember
Yes,
what
he
he said
did.
your place?
Yes, he did. Yo, that's when Jimmy was on his way out of here.
Yes, he was.
Like he was risking it all. He didn't care. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your plays
exactly.
suck. Ricky says he gave a trade option. He says, Ricky Woodward, send Aiyuk to the Browns for Amari Cooper and draft picks, which should be used wisely. Cooper was a few hundred yards less in catching, but not sure of his blocking skills. For one, you don't want Cooper blocking because he'll get hurt. For two, I don't feel like Cooper has played a complete season since, where was he drafted? The Raiders? Like, I feel like he's never played a complete season his whole career, and I can't risk having him and Debo not playing. Like I need one sure guy out there on the football field that could be dynamic.
Gotcha.
The issue with Brandon Aiyuk is, and Kali, the reason why I was saying what I was saying is because the way the offense was built, bro.
Yep.
And so, like, the offense was built on the quick throw game. Once Brock came into fruition, it started to open it up a little bit. Like, deep passes down the field, allowing Brandon Aiyuk to show his way in route running, things like that. So he definitely developed and blossomed into the number one receiver on this team. But for some reason, because the team ain't built based off of a number one wide receiver, he clearly wasn't the number one option. And so that's what made Brandon Aiyuk that's what sucked for Brandon Aiyuk. It's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. Whenever they called his number, he showed up. He's doing nothing wrong. He's just trying to fight for all the money he can get on his first deal. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not cool on trading for Cooper, even though he's my sleeper pick in fantasy football.
Okay, but do we have to pay Cooper? Because my thing is if you gotta pay Cooper,
why not just pay Brandon Aiyuk?
Right.
Yeah.
Why not pay Aiyuk? That just don't make any sense to me right there.
Amari. You don't have to pay. I mean, Amari Cooper is looking for an extension, but if he's traded to the 49ers, the Niners don't have to give him an extension, and he's going to be competing for a championship. I'm sure he'll take that and bet on himself. I believe he's set on the books for about $8 million. Terradome, what's good, bro? Ben, where's your question? Did you start it? Oh, here. This?
Yes.
Okay. So, let me check on that. Wayne Peachy, I want to buy my shirt in the shop. Will it get delivered to me here in Canada or take my Canadian payment out? Both. Let me check on that. Ty, you watching? I feel like Ty in the chat. I don't know. I'm gonna ask Ty. He runs that. But I'll get to you. Send me an email. All right, send me an email. Lewis says sorry, but when Debo was out, it was time for. Yeah. Snoop, thanks for joining, bro. He would be on a 1 year. So Debo, no, he's right. He's 100% correct. You can't take any, Lewis. You are 1,000% correct. Like, when Debo just made the offense, you know what? Debo forced the defenses to play honest because you didn't know how they were going to utilize him.
Right, exactly.
And
because
the way
he's
they
so
lined
versatile.
up.
Yeah, of course.
Because of his versatility. Once Debo's versatility was taken from the game plan, remember that was the game against Cleveland. Remember Jawan Jennings lining up in the backfield?
Yes.
How'd that work out? He's not versatile, right?
Right.
And so, so even though Kyle tried to use the same game plan, it just wasn't going to map out. And so I think that's why they even went the Ricky Pearsall route, because he adds versatility to the key. So if Debo is dealing with some type of nagging injury, at least I have this young kid that can still bring versatility to the game and hopefully make some big plays on some short catches across the middle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When Brandon Aiyuk was in there, teams had to focus on him, so they took him out of the game plan. They took him out. They stacked the box, stopped the run, and forced Brock Purdy to get rid of the ball quick because there was no more Debo. And in that game, not just that game, but and in those games, I feel like Trent Williams was out, so it was weird. Like it's just weird. But Debo is like a key piece to the cog. So when we're talking about Kyle Shanahan's offense, it's based off timing, right?
Yeah.
And so if that key timing piece is missing, if your shift guy is gone, how do you shift the gear? If the shift is gone, it's only one gear. And so the team's prepared for it. And so Aiyuk, unfortunately, can't feast like he normally would when Debo's on the football field. And so he's right. Debo was unable to come through. I mean, Aiyuk was unable to come through when Debo was missing or MIA or hurt. But at the end of the day, Aiyuk is still that dude. Like, he's still that dude. Like, I just feel like Shanahan doesn't. That's what I'm saying, PG, right? Why not prepare this offense for a passing attack?
Yeah. Yes,
It don't got to be run, pass. It don't got to be Psycho Killer out here. I don't know if y'all familiar with that song. It doesn't have to be that.
Yep.
I agree with you, Bo.
Yeah.
Kyle doesn't do a great job adjusting to the game plans. Not that he doesn't have a good game plan. Kyle's expecting guys to execute the game plan. It's hard to change the game plan if a player goes down. You're not planning your game for a player to get injured. You're planning the game for those players to play in that game. Does that make sense? The question is, can you adjust? And can the next man up, which is what everybody is saying, can the next man up execute?
Yeah.
Okay, execute. He said, Terradome said, it was bad when Trent Williams was out. Debo was out in 2022 for 3.5 games. Check back Brock rookie year. I know. I like this Q&A segment. Fernando says he should have learned, Wayne, how long he's been a coach. Listen, man, if you learn how to tie your shoe the same way all over again and it keeps coming untied and you don't learn a different way, I mean, it's tough.
He is so stuck, though, in his ways, though. Like, it just stubborn as hell. Like he just is going to do it his way, and that's all there is to it. There is no, maybe, I should try this, or if someone tries to, no, it doesn't work that way. So whatever he wants to do is what happens, and that's Yeah, I'm with Big Papa. Like, Shanahan he will design his offense to best suit his players. He will always use the run, but he uses the run much more when Jimmy was the quarterback. We ran the ball. It was a lot of more play action. I think Brock has a different skill set too, right? Like, and so definitely. Brock also doesn't have the physical attributes of most quarterbacks. Probably why he was drafted so low or overlooked or whatever. Does he have the heart? Does he have the courage? Does he have skills? Absolutely. We're talking about just straight physical height, weight, arm strength, hand size. Yeah. Brock. Remember, Brock struggles in the rain. I don't know if y'all remember that, but that's a little. That's a weird fact. It's weird. Has to do with them hands. Has to do with small hands, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I'm not saying that Kyle calls great game plans. I just don't think he adjusts well or adapts or changes it up when he needs to change it up. Right. So it's hard. But what I'm saying is hard though in the middle of a game. If this is your game sheet and this is what you have, you're not preparing this little small ass card for a play for your backups. These are the plays. You got to run them. So you heard Kyle say it like in the Super Bowl. He was like, damn, George Kittle is out. Oh, George Kittle is out? Okay, well, Charlie Warner got to run the play. He knew it wasn't going to be as effective. Charlie Warner's a great blocker, but I think what you're saying, Bo, is then why run that play? Why not run a play for a different player and let him block or do something? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, everything is just weird when it comes to Kyle Shanahan and the offense. He's set in his ways, and however he wants to do it, and that I feel like is one of our biggest Achilles heel is in-game adjustments, because we have seen it. We've seen it time and time again in these games where we're fussing and screaming at the TV, talking about why not try something else? This is not working. Try something else. Try this. You know, these pitch passes to the side and all that stuff, man. No, we need vertical. We need it vertical. All these different things. And that's one thing about it, because his adjustment. That's the one thing that I will say about him that just annoys the crap out of me is in-game adjustments.
I look, I'm the first to critique anybody first, but I also give people leeway, because if you go back and watch the Super Bowl, Debo was injured, Trent was injured, Kittle got injured, like players were hurt, and they still had to go out there and execute the plays. You're not gonna just change the plays. McCaffrey was dinged up, and so it's like I do believe Kyle struggles at times with some of his play calling, but come on, man, let's keep it a buck. If we go back to that first Super Bowl, if Jimmy Garoppolo hits George Kittle, it's a game over. You can say if Jake Moody makes the extra point, it changes the way that the Chiefs have to do what they have to do. At the end of the day, sometimes it just comes down to like little small executions. So yeah, can his plays be better at certain times? For sure, but we don't really know how he sees stuff on the football field. We just know what we would do in certain situations. And so, like, it comes down to, well, can this player get it done? Is this player, like, it just comes down to players executing the plays that he's called. Because we've watched certain throws get missed or get batted down at the line of scrimmage, or like Spencer Burford literally missed a block and it was a touchdown. Like, that's not Kyle Shanahan's fault. It's just not. It's not Kyle Shanahan's fault that, you know, even Brock Purdy got hurt in that NFC Championship game. Like, the dude was ass trying to block Hassan Reddick. You could blame Kyle for putting out there, but that dude was supposed to do his freaking job. Like, guys have to still do their job. They still have to execute, because that's what the coach trusts the players to do. If that's the case, now we got trust issues again, and we ain't never winning shit. Like that, we got, the coach has to be able to trust the players to execute what he's calling. Can the coach figure out how to adapt on the fly? Well, I think that's why he brought in a guy like Brandon Staley. Because I think, honestly, last year, Peachy, I think Kyle was so spent on fixing that defense, he was fucking up on the offense. Like, he just was lost at some point. Now, so that's why I agree with Bo. I agree with you guys when you say you got to call better plays. I think he was just overworking himself. And so you bring in Brandon Staley to kind of like oversee the defense for a new defensive coordinator, and you're hoping that takes Kyle out of the defensive room and less in there until he could focus on his offense. That's what we're hoping for. I don't know if that's true, but that's what we're hoping for. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of ifs. I don't like to play the if game, but we got to, because, you know, we could say that we lost the 2 Super Bowls if Kyle called better plays. But what if those plays and those players executed the plays that he called? What if the defense just stopped Patrick Mahomes in both games?
Well, and, you know, we also had the special teams flub up, and I mean, you can't put Pat Mahomes on like the 30 or 20 or whatever that was. Like, I already knew that was going to be a touchdown. Like,
it's just tough, man.
Yeah. So,
it's tough. I like these comments. I like people coming at me. J-Dog, my boy from Boston, says, come on, Breezy. We got an all-star team. Any coach could do damage. See, you could be right. But Kyle is the difference maker. He's the difference of the coaching. So when you look at other coaches, they'll probably be more lackadaisical, less anal, less egotistical, and it's not all about, oh yeah, my play is gonna work. I'm gonna tell you right now, Andy Reid was a certain way until he started trusting Patrick Mahomes. Until he realized that Eric Bieniemy was like, listen, this kid is dynamic. Like, let this kid go out there and make plays. If Brock Purdy was playing as free as Patrick Mahomes, we win that Super Bowl by 40 points. Easy. Brock Purdy looked like he was a deer in headlights, and he just didn't look dynamic at all. It looked like he was structured. Don't go off these lines. You stay in these lines. We're going to win this game methodically. You don't win a game methodically against Patrick Mahomes.
Analytics. Remember, he said that the analytics were guiding him and telling him what to do.
He said that in the presser, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He said.
So
that
that's
in the
my
press
point.
conference.
Look, that's my point. Then, that's why I said Kyle's got to be free and he's got to trust. That's why I put there was the presser a clip that I put out on X. I was like, oh, it really. I'm starting to get the feeling or the notion that Brock's in charge, like he's fully in charge, like, yeah, and that's got to come from Kyle Shanahan trusting him. Now the question is, he's not going to have he potentially may not have his guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know, he may potentially not have Brandon Aiyuk, who, let me just remind everybody, if Brandon Aiyuk don't catch that pass off somebody's head, we not in the Super Bowl.
yeah, Detroit, tell you.
So if this dude won $30 million, I'm just saying that catch alone was $30 million. Hell, we won the Super Bowl. Nobody would even care. But unfortunately, we didn't win the Super Bowl. Like, that catch alone gave 49ers hope. It changed the momentum of the game. And then we were in the bowl. We beat the Detroit Lions. Comeback. Crazy comeback.
Seriously.
I don't know. We about to get up out of here.
Wayne and Peachy or anyone who wants to answer, what are your thoughts on the outcome if, example, Kyle coaches the Chiefs and Andy Reid coaches the Niners next season?
The Chiefs will lose every big fucking game. Kyle would lose his mind.
He sure would.
When Patrick Mahomes started dancing. I'm sorry for cursing, y'all. I'm serious, but I'm dead serious. But I remember Andy Reid being the same way. I remember him being the same way. He couldn't win until he started to say, you know what, this kid is special. Yeah. I need Kyle to say Brock is special and let Brock be special.
That's right.
Whatever Brock does to mess up, shake it off. Patrick Mahomes throws interceptions. He threw one in the Super Bowl. Jair Brown had an interception.
Yep.
And they still won the game.
Fantastic, by the way.
And they won the game.
Right.
I wonder why. Because Andy Reid was like, man, shake that junk off. Go out there and be you. Remember, Peachy, every episode, you want to know, my issues with Kyle Shanahan will never, ever be the play calling. I'm not, in 2024, I will not question his play calling. My issue with Kyle Shanahan is letting those players be those players.
Control. That's what he has problems with, his control.
Control.
He has to control everything. Everything.
I'm telling you, Peachy, like, if Kyle could just trust, fall back, trust. I feel like he trusts CMC.
Oh yeah.
He feels way more confident when his guy Trent Williams is out there.
And he trusts Debo.
And he definitely over trusts Debo.
Right.
That's trust one.
Where Debo tells him what he's gonna do.
Do you think Kyle trusts Brandon Aiyuk?
Oh, that's a good question.
I want to say yes.
You know, what's interesting about that is we know what happened in the Super Bowl. We know how Aiyuk felt after the Super Bowl about the targets that he did not get and why his targets were so less in there. That's a great question, if he does or not, because he was not targeted hardly at all, and he literally like said it in his whatchamacallit.
Check this out. JP says Purdy was not the reason we lost the Super Bowl. I hope my rant wasn't even insinuating anything close to this. That's not what I was saying. I just felt like if Purdy could have been just Purdy,
right,
and just play a little bit more freely,
exactly. Instead
he
of
would have made plays out of no ways, and he would have been like baby Jesus for the 49ers.
Instead of being controlled.
I just feel like, remember that game Purdy almost threw it was a touchdown, but it was across the back, and it kind of went through like two people's hands into Brandon Aiyuk's hand. How we keep talking about Brandon Aiyuk. This is so funny. And Brandon Aiyuk caught the touchdown, and Kyle Shanahan cursed him out so bad, and then Purdy went back to being the little.
Yeah, he went back to being. Yeah, he was like, okay.
I just wish that, like, I think going into year 3, I think what's going to be great for Purdy is he's having a full freaking training camp with no setbacks injury wise.
Absolutely.
And I think that's how he's earning his coach's trust. And I think that's
so.
the only thing he needed. Go back to his rookie year. Wasn't the guy. Go back to the next year, returning from injury, UCL. So he technically wasn't the guy. He was the guy that was going to start, but he wasn't the guy to earn the trust. I think this is the year he earns the trust. I really do. I do. Will Brandon Aiyuk be with the 49ers this season, man? It's going to be crazy. Peachy, what a great episode. Shout out to everybody out there. Thank y'all so much for just being a part of one of the greatest chats of all time. I mean, no matter what show we do, this chat is here and they are ready to bring it every single episode. And guys, you don't have to say I respectfully disagree with you. You could disagree with me anytime you want. It's all love and games here, man. It's all fun for me. I respect everybody out there. Peachy respects everybody out there. We just here to rant on Nitty Gritty Niners. I expect the crew to be here next Monday night. We get to talk about that preseason game, recap it, all that good stuff. Peachy, any final thoughts before we dip up out of here?
Just want to thank everybody for hanging in there with us, guys. It's a roller coaster right now, and it's going back and forth. And I do feel like in a matter of days that this will be resolved either way. Either way, I just have a scary feeling that he's going to be traded.
I feel like that's too easy to say.
Be,
I'm gonna need you to pick a side. Is he staying? Is he going?
I think he's going.
It just feels that
I just don't know where he's going to. And don't be surprised if another team comes out of the woodwork, because 49ers are going to want to get a whole bunch of they're not going to let him go for peanuts and Cracker Jack. It's not happening. You should keep an eye on teams like Carolina, and the Commanders may make another, entrance into this. And I'm telling you, when these NFL teams find out that this is for real, and that 49ers are actually talking to these teams, because organizations talk to each other all the time. And when I'm telling you, there's going to be more teams than just the ones that were mentioned, the Raiders, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Patriots. I promise you that list is about to start growing.
It's about to get crazy.
It's about to get wild. I just need Trent signed, or his guarantees, or whatever it is. Like, I need Trent to be happy.
Yeah, they got to tear up the
so
old deal,
that
give him a new
Trent
deal.
comes in here and is ready to go week 1. Like, I need that.
all I'm asking for, okay? All I'm asking for, godly. All I'm asking for is this stuff to not break at 2 a.m. when I'm dead sleep.
Right.
That's it.
And before we go, tomorrow is Breezy and Mrs. Breezy's 10th wedding anniversary.
Yes.
So let's wish them a happy anniversary tomorrow. The news will probably break while they're eating or something.
That's okay. I'm gonna have my phone,
But
my light,
the
my
good
laptop.
thing about Breezy's
going
wife,
live.
Ricky, is she will allow him to do it.
I'm going live. I don't care where I am. I don't care. I'm going live. I don't care if I'm in the bathroom at the time. I'm going live. I'm going live.
Right.
I'm gonna, because you're gonna. If Brandon Aiyuk is traded, I'm gonna freaking cry. I'm gonna cry. It is what it is. I'm gonna cry. Why? Because we haven't had a receiver like Brandon Aiyuk since Terrell Owens.
I
don't think people understand that. What Michael Crabtree did was decent. Anquan Bolden was a breath of freaking fresh air. So was Emmanuel Sanders, but they weren't here. Bolden was, but they nah. I'm talking about homegrown drafted talent. I'm crying, and I'll get over it.
We raised them, and I'm just like,
they groomed them, Peach.
Right. It's and we don't have Aiyuk's replacement on this team. I saw on social media where somebody said, well, we got Chris Conley. We can just put Chris Conley, in that spot. I'm like, wait, what? Who?
I like Chris Conley.
I love Chris Conley, but he is not an Aiyuk replacement.
No one will replace Aiyuk. The question is,
he's a blocking machine as well. So it's just it's
who would step up?
It's so hard to even think about the fact that we could be losing this special player for real. Like right before the season starts, no less. It's just crazy how we're going to do this, and people are in preseason, they're preparing their rosters, they're doing all these different things, and I'm telling you, it's like, really? Because he's going to get with a team who starts week. Like, what? This is nuts.
Is that what I said? Papa G, I probably said, you ain't got to say you disrespectfully disagree with me. I probably said that. I know I did. Now that you said it, I know I said that. Thank y'all so much for the happy anniversary shout outs. As far as me doing live shows tomorrow, I will keep you posted. But definitely if anything breaks,
Absolutely.
I'll definitely be on the air.
Yes.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Nitty Gritty Niners will be back Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully the crew will be here. We'll be able to talk about that first preseason game that doesn't matter. I'm sorry. I just want to see the backups play. At this point, that's what I want to see. Yeah, I want to see the backups play.
Me too.
And here's my take on Chris Conley. Because he's a veteran, I would put $10 that the 49ers waive him and sign him to the practice squad. I'm gonna leave it at that. Just because he's a veteran. That's a way that they don't have to pay him his any guarantee money.
Got you.
So just say if that happens with Trent Taylor, I'm happy with Trent Taylor. So I don't see them putting 2 vet receivers on the practice squad, but that's how those guys are gonna work. Kyle, I got you, dog. I got you. Guys, we love y'all, man. Keep it nitty gritty always. Thank y'all for tuning in. Until the next time, stay up, y'all. We out this Jones.
Hey.
Breezy, gritty, this that 9
Mo's nose. Peachy, fear the dog. It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's nose, Peachy, Breezy, and Fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you 9 to tall. We 2 gorilla, silverback, 9 silver
It's busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's nose, and Fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall.